What's up, everybody? It's your favorite anime's favorite nerd. And today we are looking at the Figma 231 Guyver figure. It's from an anime by the same name, I believe. When I was a kid, it's weird if you grew up in my era, like in the late 90s, people started getting in, maybe mid 90s, people started getting into anime a little bit. Akira got big, and then Akira was kind of like a gateway drug, and it led to different things. Guyver was one of the ones that I actually got interested in when I was a young lad. And I wanted to take a look at this. This is Figma's Guyver, and this is said to be by Mike. And I don't want to give away his last name. I don't want to put people's business out there if they don't want it out there. He hit me up, noticed that I sort of had similar sensibilities to him in terms of 6-inch figures, told me what he had, and when he mentioned this one, I was like, yeah, that's one I'd definitely be interested in taking a look at. So we got accessories, as you would expect with a Figma figure. He comes with this, I believe, if memory serves me, it was a Guyver unit. It's cool. There's a ton of sculpt work, like all the little bits in there, and then all that. But I don't know. The paint isn't as clean as I would necessarily expect. Like if this was a Marvel Legend, I mean, don't get me wrong. If it was a Marvel Legend, I'd be like, oh my god, tremendous work. But it's not a Marvel Legend. I kind of feel like this could have been done better, paint-wise. Like the green on these, and I get that they're small strips and all that, but it goes outside the lines a fair bit. But it's still a cool accessory. He also comes with an alternate chest. We'll talk about that, why, at least as far as I know. It's nothing really to write home about, but it's worth mentioning. And then he comes with 2 elbow accessories. We'll try those on for size as well. And then he comes with 1 tree hand set. So we have, saluting hands or flying hands. We have holding hands, even though he doesn't have any holding accessories that I saw. And then he has like 2 types of posing hands, all detailed the same way, all painted the same way, and they look pretty good. He comes with an extra joint in case I guess yours should snap. That's thoughtful. I dig that. And then, of course, a display stand, which we won't be taking a look at. But Figma makes nice display stands. So let's talk about this guy. The head sculpt is fantastic. Really, really good looking. And it's got like this chrome underneath with like the translucent plastic on top, giving it like a jeweled look. It picks up reflections and whatnot from the light. It's beautiful. The red paint, the silver paint on the little gems and stuff, all really, really, really well done. It has this piece which is connected to the neck piece that goes down into here. It's a softer plastic, so it moves right along with the figure movements. Does a really good job of staying consistent with the look of the figure. So I applaud that. That's really well done. Now the head seems to be on just a ball peg, which is not the best in terms of range of motion, but it could be worse. The rest of it kind of does a great job. So it's I don't know. It just seems like it could be a better, but there's an awful lot here. So I don't know if I give it a pass, but I'm more lenient, let's say. So he has these bits here, as you can see. They're on a softer plastic kind of. It's like a swivel here, so you can get them up and out of the way and move them around the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint itself is a ball hinge, and it connects to looks like another ball hinge inside the socket. So it's a great range of motion there, and these don't really get in the way, and they never look like an extra piece of armor. Like it always just looks natural, which is cool. Bicep swivel, little on the tight side, but it's there. Ball hinge elbow. Getting you a good range of motion. I'd say 90 degrees, maybe slightly more. Another ball hinge wrist, and you would just pop the hands off if you wanted to use those. And then this piece here. Now, this piece you can just remove, and then you can just slide in one of your extended units. I would be careful of these. If it were to take a shelf dive or something, you're probably going to have to say goodnight. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to remove it now. I'll take a few pictures of it later on. You can see it at the end, but for the most part, I'm just going to try not to break his stuff. How does that sound? Wrist swivel here also at the ball hinge in an out motion, and you should be able to move it, I believe. You should be able to move that joint also. Yes, you can. So it swivels here too, so you can swivel it at the base to get your up down, whatever your little heart desires. So that's cool. Now, the detailings and stuff are basically all of it is pretty much cast. There's a few exceptions, but all of it is pretty much cast in this darker gray. and then the green is painted on top, and then the green is washed. Now the wash is purposely done somewhat out the lines to give it like a lived-in universe kind of look and vibe, and that's cool. And it picks it up really well throughout. So no real complaints paint job wise there, and it's sort of carried on throughout the figure. Now the chest opens up, and if memory serves me, like I said, it's been a long time, and these are on little ball hinges as well. These, which look like silicone implants, are actually lasers, or like laser beams, some sort of weapon. And you can the reason why they provided the alternate one is because it doesn't quite sit 100% flush. So if you didn't want the kind of gimmick of it, then you could just slide this one in, you know, and you would notice that it sits a lot tighter and looks a lot more, you know, finished, so to speak. He had this in there, and I think I would do it the same had I had this figure. But the reason why I did this is really to show you the articulation. We have a ball hinge that goes into the top and bottom, so it'll swivel at both sides, and you'll get the hinge. So that's cool. A good diaphragm joint. Just so you know, I'm not pulling your chain here. I'll go ahead and put this back in and show you that it doesn't really affect the articulation at all. You still get it, and there's no gappage on the front or back, so that's cool. Another ball hinge, it looks like to me, inside for the lower diaphragm with an insane range of motion, and then the front and back as well. So that's all good. Pelvis is a floating piece and works well enough. Actually, very minimal gappage, if anywhere. So that's really nice. Even around the hip joints, a little bit there, but I think that's forgivable. So that's really cool. And then we have T-jointed ball joints for hips, and then these pieces are a soft plastic that are actually, it's put on around the cast part. So it works really well, and it like slides right up in there, like inside the torso, so it always looks seamless, which I did think was cool. So ball joints, range of motion is fantastic, you know, better than most ball jointed figures. With the thigh swivel built into the ball joint, and it looks like to me also built into the bottom here maybe, but I can't tell for sure. Single jointed knee on a ball hinge. Now, this does, alright, so this, you see how the knee joint sits a little further back from the knee? This is done for, I would imagine, for design and aesthetic choices in order to make it look as streamlined as possible. But as a result, he does have a little trouble standing. You know, you can definitely get him to stand, but he's a little back heavy because the weight comes down into here, and then this sits, you know, it's not in a straight line. Not the biggest deal in the world, but something worth noting. Same sort of detailings on this plastic kind of come down and finish out throughout. And then we have the feet, which are on the same type of ball hinge. We get a tilt up, fairly limited, I must say. A limited tilt down, and then the toe hinge. The toe hinge is done fantastically. Like, toe hinges are hard to do because they're hard to make look real. Like, it's hard to make it look like where the toe would actually be, but this actually pulls it off. So cheers to them for that. He is a little fella, though, so I wanted to make sure to show you. He was actually smaller than I expected him to be.
I know how that feels.
You know, I'm not even going to respond to your childish antics. So there he is next to a legend. Why is this off center here? Why is one leg longer than the other? Now, obviously, you know, the materials are going to be better on the Figma and the paint and all that stuff. Like, that's a given, right? So we're not comparing quality, but I just want to show you size-wise, he's a smaller unit. Final thoughts-wise, the negatives are the placement of the knees sometimes make it a hard time giving the figure a proper balance, and the head articulation is limited, and that is it. The positives here far outweigh the negatives. The accessories are cool. Plenty of hands, plenty of options, cool display stand to make up for that balance issue. There's washes here, there's tons of sculpt work. Did I mention the articulation? Because if I didn't, it's fantastic with the exception of that head. The rest of the figure moves fairly well. And it does have an ankle rocker. I don't think I mentioned that, but you can see it being used right there. It's a cool looking figure. It has that anime feel to it. I wish it was slightly bigger. That's personal. That's a personal thing. But it is very cool. Figma is a company that I would love to dive deeper into. It's just they rarely make things that I'm really interested in. But I do want to pick up that Figma Hulk. That's on my list. But it's just refreshing. It's refreshing to mess with a piece that's so well painted, that's so well crafted, that moves so smoothly, that has tons of accessories, tons of thought, tons of passion. I don't know, tons of love. And thanks again to Mike. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.